You got it.
Get it.
Hello, everyone. Hello, my loves. Hello, my loves. And welcome to Monique and Sidney's open relationship. And we said we was talking about what today, Daddy?
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey and what?
Money over integrity.
Money over integrity. Now, the calling number is 470-282-1802. And you know what, Daddy? I want to apologize because I didn't say hey to you.
That's all right.
I didn't say hey, Daddy.
Hey, Mama.
How you doing?
Wonderful.
You ready to do it?
Let's do it.
Let's get it done.
All right.
All right, baby. I'm trying to get it set up. I'm picking up the... Okay, there we go. Here we go, y'all. We want to thank y'all for y'all beautiful patience. Okay, because we do's it the way we do's it.
We do's it.
The way we do's it. So
Yeah.
let's get it done. Okay, so... Welcome, everyone.
There.
Daddy, I think it's okay.
Okay.
Okay? But you want me to put it back?
Go ahead, baby. However you want to do it.
Daddy, I think it's good.
Let's not talk about it. Let's be about it.
Well, let's be about it. Should we go to the calls right now, or should we have some conversation?
Normally we discuss
Well,
how we get into it.
That's how we're going to do it. So let's discuss how we're getting into the topic today. Our brother Steve Harvey, money over integrity. So I'm sure y'all have seen the interview. Maybe some of you have, some of you haven't. And if you haven't, you should look it up and see it. And since that interview, there's been a lot of questions. There's been a lot of comments, a lot of statements about what actually happened on the Steve Harvey show when he and I had our conversation. And I think y'all could see it for yourself.
Yeah.
What happened on the Steve Harvey show. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are questioning, Mo, why are you doing this? Why are you still speaking on it? Because we must still speak on it for us to be better as a people. And the reason why I believe we stay in the positions we stay in is because we're too afraid to speak on it. And because we're too afraid to speak on it, we keep running into situations just like this.
And perhaps by us not speaking on it so that the community, because what we found out is the community felt exactly like Monique stated that she felt from the beginning. They just weren't cognizant of what it was that Monique was saying from the beginning. And when her and Steve had an opportunity to discuss it, you got a chance to see it in a very rudimentary way, very elementary and basic way laid out, that what Monique and I have been saying all along is, Monique first in telling me to let Lionsgate, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels know, thank you for the opportunity to go promote this movie internationally for you, though I'm not contractually obligated to do so, but I'm going to respectfully decline. If you want me to go, as they said to me, we would really love her to do it because of the incredible job that she did domestically for Lee Daniels Entertainment. They said, what is it that we can do for you guys or for Monique to have her go? I then said, is there a dollar amount? That's when everyone passed out. There was a blackout. People fell out. Ooh. And then there was the rumor that she was asking for money to promote a movie. So when you get a chance to see and pull back the layers, that what she was saying is, I can't allow Hollywood to take advantage of me, especially as an Academy Award winner, especially as an individual who was the headliner for the most successful female comedy tour in the history of the game, along with other accolades, because if she does that, she's going to lower the bar for the rate for all the sisters that don't have those same credits. You heard Brother Steve say, listen, I am not going to sacrifice my money over some integrity. Now y'all going to have a chance to weigh in. That's just a little synopsis of what we were talking about.
And again, when you have us, for the ones that I'll say is fearful, with, oh no, y'all should just be quiet. Oh, just let it go. Oh no, don't do it. Oh no. What if the ones that came before us just let it go? What if the ones that came before us was too afraid to say something? And believe me, there was those ones.
Yeah, because the same people that we deal with now in history that say, Monique, you should be quiet, were the same ones who told Malcolm X. They were the same ones who told Martin Luther King, y'all were crazy for standing up
Mm.
for your rights. We know how it's going to be, and we know the mistreatment we're going to receive if we just let it go. We don't know how we're going to disturb the oppressors if we stand up and want to speak up for ourselves. It's the same thing.
And for the ones that are in here right now that are fearful to speak up for yourself, and y'all are saying, well, didn't this happen at this time? Didn't this happen at that time? Listen, it did happen at that time. But if we stay quiet, we don't get heard. We don't get heard. And for the ones who want to stay quiet, keep your ass quiet and stay in that position of fear. Stay in that position of we should just be happy they welcomed us in. You stay there. But for the ones that want to speak up and be fearless, let's go, y'all. Let's go to the lines, Daddy.
Come on.
Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you calling from?
Hi, this is Rhonda.
Hey,
Hey, Rhonda.
Rhonda.
Oh, hi, Sydney.
Hey.
Yeah, just a blessing to talk to you guys. And you know, Monique, you inspire me and keep on standing on your integrity because you just a blessing to us all. And I enjoyed you at the improv in November, which it was on my B-Day.
Thank you, baby.
And with that said, I think he started out caring for us, but he fell by grace.
Mm.
And it saddened me to hear how he talked to you. I actually believe it's a hidden agenda. I believe it's a political reason, and thank God you're not going to let them use you for it. I believe the Democrats are getting ready to announce their real swamp creature candidate. And I think it's going to be Oprah and Biden. And I'm so glad that you did not fall for the demonic shenanigans.
Thank you,
And I
baby.
hope that a lot of these other celebrities and other YouTubers would take heed, like Adventures or Truck Driver Diva, because she's going through something similar what you're going through. It reminds me of you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Rhonda, baby. We're going to keep standing together, mama. And that's what makes, again, us keep standing. When you have the ones that say, keep standing. And we have to welcome into the room, y'all, Seed of Abraham. Seed of Abraham.
Come on.
Man, let's go. Hey, this is Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, my name is Lionel, and I'm calling from Washington, D.C.
Hey, baby.
What's happening?
Hi, how are you? Hope all's well. I just got the link through YouTube, and just from seeing you like speak up for yourself and not let just standing your ground, it has made me want to do that. And I'm turning 16 in April, but fear has been a problem of mine for a very long time, and it's been really hard for me to overcome that fear because I'm always constantly worried about what people are going to say or what they think. And it's funny because I have a burning passion in the entertainment industry, and my theater teacher is constantly telling me, how are you going to be in this industry if you're scared and if you keep letting fear get the best of you? And just, like I said, just from seeing you speaking up for yourself, it made me want to speak up for myself, and it just gave me that extra push to want to overcome the fear and not just standing up for anything. Like you said, at what point do we start standing up, and at what point do we stop letting things just slide and not say anything? even if people aren't really, beside, at least, we're standing up for what's right.
Well, here's the thing. You're 16 years old. You're taking the time out of your day to call in because of your challenges. If you work on that right now at 16, when you're 21, when you're 26, you'll be teaching people how to come out of their shell. So you keep on working on it, because listen, if you're brave enough to identify the fact that you have some challenges, that means you're brave enough to overcome those said challenges. You're ready. It's your time, young 16-year-old. Be the best thespian you can possibly be and grace the world with your talents.
We love you, baby.
I love you too.
Keep going, baby. 15. Gonna turn 16. And like you said, Daddy, if we can catch him now, that baby will be a beast. But some of us are 50.
And not thinking like someone 15.
Come on, y'all. We're talking about it. Steve Harvey, money over integrity. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Monique and Sydney, this is Mama Bird.
Hey, Mama Bird.
How you doing?
How are you guys?
Wonderful.
Super fantastic.
Right on, praise God. I got to tell you, I love this topic. I'm going to add a little bit to that. People tend to forget actions speak louder than words. But when you put those words to your actions, you show what your worth really is. And for those that are trying to say, oh, don't do this, don't rock the boat. Well, okay, if you feel your worth is beneath that, that's okay, that's you. But we're talking about my worth. What God has laid upon me, or what I believe in me. And my worth is this, and this is what I'm willing to stand up and do. Your choice is your choice. Don't try to lay that on me.
Come on, Mama Bird.
We appreciate
Words
that.
from Mama Bird, baby. We love you, baby.
Oh, I love you too. I'll give you a little example. A long story done short, the Clip Note version. As y'all know, I'm Native American straight off the res. And I had to fight my own tribe for 717 students for their scholarships. And when I was talking to the director, he said that the IRS could tax them for these scholarship monies. And he said, and they can tax you too. And I just quietly told him, I said, so are you telling me then, as the director of this program, these 717 students are not worth that taxation for this tribe to pay?
Come on,
Well,
baby.
yes, they are. I said, well, then there ain't an argument. And there's no argument. You pay it. You let these students know this is their worth. We support you. The same with your actions and how you carry yourself, along with your words. You let people know this is my worth.
Yes.
And I am not going to succumb to anything beneath or below that.
That's why we love you, Mama Bird.
Take it.
Honey,
All right, baby.
you.
Love you, baby. Look, when I say Mama Bird, I always feel like I'm Martin. That's my Mama Bird. Gina,
That's
you
my
killed my
Mama
Mama
Bird.
Bird. Y'all, we're talking about it today. Brother Steve Harvey, money over integrity.
Go
I
ahead.
did, Daddy.
I was getting ready to address. There were some individuals in the room. They say, "Why won't Sidney let Monique speak for herself?"
Let me tell y'all something. So that we're real clear about this, because 1 minute y'all saying, I talk too damn much. Okay? The next minute y'all saying, I don't talk enough and I'm letting him speak for me. Sidney's not speaking for me. We speak for one another. We speak together. However, I have asked my husband, so that I'm clear, I asked my husband some years ago, Daddy, would you please do this show? Because there are some things that you've said to me that has saved my life. There are some things that you've said to me that has broke through for me. There are some things that you've said to me that's been so goddamn brutally honest. Y'all, it's taken me to my knees. That's why I don't know how to do it any other way, because it works. even when your ego is involved, even when your feelings get shattered. And what this new shit is, love don't look like love. That's some new bullshit that we're throwing out there, because sometimes love is not wrapped up in a pretty bow. Sometimes love is not given in, oh, that's so beautiful. Sometimes love's so goddamn ugly so you can get to the beauty.
Now, with that said, we only bring that up because the majority of the folks are like they love it. But you have to, because oftentimes it's as if people who say things that you don't agree with, you want to ignore them, but we got to speak to them because that's part of loving them.
Yes.
And what happens is, in my personal life, and I'm sure, and I can speak for Monique to say it, to attest to it, we know what it is to see men not stand by their women.
Mm.
So there are numerous men out there who do, and numerous women who stand by their men. We are a microcosm of that set that you don't get a chance to see from a Hollywood standpoint on a daily basis. And as it pertains to Hollywood, we are, if you will, of that world, but not involved per se in that world.
Come on.
So it's one of those things we call we regular folk.
That's all.
Not Regular.
What we are?
Regla. That's Regla.
We Asti Spumante.
Out here. Okay. Not Perrier-Jouet.
We Asti.
Spumante.
Come on.
So it's one of those things where for those that aren't used to seeing a black couple, much less a couple, standing together, we want to project and show you the imagery of what it's like so that if you have a teammate
Come on.
at home, be unafraid to utilize that teammate because you are two movable parts operating as one unit. That's all you're seeing right here.
And though, y'all, we've been conditioned not to be. We've been conditioned not to be a team, not to be a unit. And for the sisters, some of us, oh, honey, he got his bank account and I got my bank account. Oh, I got my shit and he got his shit. Well, then what y'all are not as a team? Because you're so worried about what's going to be taken from you. And this the person you lay with every night. May it be husband and wife, wife and wife, husband, whatever the dynamic is. This is the person that you've asked for. This is the person that you're saying, till death do us part. But then you're saying, why he's speaking for you? Like, that doesn't go hand in hand.
And you're preparing more for rainy days than you are to spend the rest of your days together. When you start investing in your relationship and invest in one another, it's not that's your wife's problem, that's your husband's problem. If your wife has a problem, if your mate has a problem, if your husband has a problem, if anyone that you are connected with has a problem, it becomes your problem for you as a team to figure out. That's our public service announcement.
We're talking about it, money over integrity.
Come on.
For us, and what did not get aired on the show, is when Steve Harvey said to me, I will not let my family crumble over integrity or me trying to make a stand or a point. With no integrity, your family's already crumbled. I don't give a goddamn how many mansions you pull up to. I don't give a goddamn how many private jets you pull up to. I don't care how many private yachts.
Okay, that was like private jets.
Private jets. I was trying to say
okay,
yacht.
That's what's up. Okay.
But I don't give a fuck about all of your material shit. If you have no integrity, you've already crumbled. You've already crumbled your family. Because if you're banking on, oh, they can pull up to a nice house. God damn it, let us pull up to a studio, bedroom, apartment, but we got integrity. We have our children saying, we're proud of what you stood for. Not, yeah, you paid the mortgage, but God damn if you wasn't a coward. Let's go to the line, y'all. We're talking about it. Steve Harvey, money over integrity. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hey, Mo, how are you? It's Shantae calling from the DMV area.
Hey, Shantae.
Hey.
Hey, Sydney, how are you?
Wonderful, wonderful.
It's awesome to speak to both of you guys. Monique, you have no idea, sis. I've been on your side since day one. My friends, they joke, they said, Shantae, Monique need to hire you for PR. I said, no, she got Sydney. I want her to know that I'm on her side.
Thank you,
from
baby.
day one, from when it started with the Amy Schumer. I think that what you are doing is absolutely incredible. As an African American woman myself that often has to take second fiddle, you are championing not only black people, but you are championing all marginalized groups. Stand, Monique, stand, sis, and we will continue to support you.
Thank you so much, baby. That's why we love you, mama.
We appreciate
I love you too, Monique. Sydney, Godspeed. I wish y'all nothing but the best. But I can tell you, Monique, I have been standing by you. When people was like, but they said, I said, let me tell you something. You cannot concede when it comes to standing firm on your beliefs. And when you are trying to push through, the enemy is always busy. Always busy. But guess what? We busier.
Come on now, baby. We're going to stay busy, Shantae.
We're going to stay busy in 2019 and beyond. And I said, let me say this. I said, Monique has a litany of awards. You kidding me? What Netflix was offering her? Monique is hilarious. She's charismatic. She's charming. She's intelligent. She's brilliant. And let me say this. You paid your dues. It's no more paying no more dues. It's time to stand firm. Keep pushing, Monique. Keep rising, sis. And I'm going to keep on supporting you.
Thank you, Shantae. You the real Shantae. All right, baby.
We'll keep it 100, y'all. God
Love
bless.
you, baby. That's why we got to keep standing.
That's why.
Even y'all when it's uncomfortable. Hey, you on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hi, Monique. This is Brianna calling from Georgia.
Hey, Brianna from Georgia.
Hey.
Hey, I just wanted to call and just let you know that I am so proud of what you're doing. You're standing for all the black girls out there. You are worth more than what they're trying to give you. And just keep fighting for us. A lot of us, we don't understand what you're doing right now. They trying to say, well, why she doing this and why she doing that? And she just need to sit back and be quiet. No. Fuck that. You need to keep speaking up and standing on what you believe in and keep praying, my sister, and I'm going to keep praying for you.
Thank you, sweet baby. We love you, mama. See, this is why for me that y'all, if they never have y'all sister back in Hollywood again, if they say that bitch talk too much, all of that. If the next one get it and get it fairly, someone said to me, is this all worth it? Yes, it is. It's all worth it. It's all worth it. And one day, hopefully, we'll get to a place where we all unify and we all get it. Because I'm not the first one to take a stand. Of course not. There's so many before me that took a stand. But you have to ask yourself, why do we have to keep taking these stands? For there were so many before us. Because there are still so many that are afraid to stand your ass up. There's still so many that says, oh, I got it and I ain't going to do shit to mess it up and whatever it takes for me to keep it. So what we're saying right now is it's being said out of love. Someone put, I hate Steve. Please don't. That's the last thing we want, baby. The last thing we want is for anybody to hate our brother, for anybody to hate Oprah, Tyler, Lee, Steve, Will Packer. We don't want nobody to hate our brothers and sisters.
That's not what this is about.
At all. What we want is for us to fall in love with each other for real. For real.
And understand that the reason why, if you can go, it's on social media right now, what Brother Steve said back in the day when he had the box haircut and the long suits before he made the transition. And he said, if you give me $4 million,
yes,
I will act like a monkey and scratch and pick things off of me. If you give me $10 million, I'll swing in on a vine.
Yes.
And the black community, they're going to be so upset with me. And as Maya Angelou said, when somebody tells you who they are, believe them. Now, with that being said, as disappointed as you may be, still find a way to love that cat because that is our brother. And I'm not speaking from any other way than for yourself, because you got to understand the reason why people think the way that they think is not to piss you off. It's because they've been conditioned that the better life, you can't understand that the slave who was watching his master pull off in that fine clothes that the slaves made, in the fine cart with the fine horses, living in the fine house, that the slave somehow wanted to be like the master.
Come on.
Not realizing that if he was like the master, he would then have to be a slave owner. And when you understand that there were slave owners who happened to be black, that means there was a disconnect from the injustices that they had suffered and imposed it on others who were slaves. So we have to understand that what we're seeing is just hundreds of years of conditioning of us wanting the proverbial bag, wanting to be successful at any cost, and forgetting, as Sammy Davis Jr. said, everything that he thought that he wanted at the top.
Come on. He already had at the bottom. And that was simply his family. See, y'all, if we do our research and we don't just accept history, but we research our story, then you'll find out these stories are not unique. There's a brother named Donald Bogle, who wrote a book, Bright Lights, Bold Boulevard. It's about the beginning of Black Hollywood, and it brings us all the way up to current times. All of us are in this goddamn book. Just only thing that changed was the faces. The only one that's not in that book is Oprah Winfrey, because there was no blueprint. Everyone else is in that book. The only thing that changed was the faces, but the story stayed the same. You had the ones in that book that felt like, I got mine, you niggas got yours to get, and I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to keep mine. You have the ones in the book that says, yeah, baby, we getting it, but we not getting it fairly. And if we stand together, it might be different. And her goddamn name was Hattie McDaniel.
Paul Robeson.
Come on, Eartha Kitt. See, what we didn't understand was even back then, when they tried to put Hattie McDaniel against Lena Horne, and his name was Charles White, I believe, am I saying it right? Charles White, who was a black man, but felt like Hattie McDaniel was the old time nigga, the maid nigga, the slave nigga. We don't want to deal with that kind of nigga no more. Now it's time for the new nigga, and that's Lena Horne. So now we're going to throw Hattie McDaniel away. So Hattie McDaniel had to go to Lena Horne's home and say, what we not going to do, baby, is let them turn us against one another. Go do that shit. Go do what you can do to open up the doors you got to open up. I'm going to still do what I need to do over here. So though they tried to put those two women against one another, Hattie McDaniel said, I'm not going to buy into this bullshit. And though they never paid Hattie McDaniel equally, never, even after she won that trophy, they said, we hope this nigga don't think now she's going to get what her white counterparts get.
Well, she already said, if they didn't pay me fairly before I got it,
Come on.
after I got it, they really didn't want to see me. And when you watch the video of Steve and Monique, because this is how we sometimes get caught up, notice that he said that Monique was wrong, Oprah Tyler Lee, they were wrong, and they should apologize to one another. But that man never apologized to Monique when he made the statement that she burned too many bridges. And he had time enough to make that statement, but never had time enough to call her up to find out why these statements were being made about her. And as he said, well, I probably should have. I probably should have called. And you right, but you know I was busy. If you're not too busy to condemn, don't be too busy to call.
We're talking about it, y'all. Steve Harvey, money over integrity. Hey, you on with Monique and Sidney. Who's this and where you're calling from? Hello.
May have gone, baby.
I'm sorry to keep him on hold for so long, but baby, we got to do
You
it.
got to do it.
Hey, you on with Monique and Sidney. Who's this and where you're calling from? Hello.
Try it again.
Okay. And listen, too.
And you want to give them the call-in number again? Because I keep seeing people say.
Yes, sir. The call-in number is 470-282-1802. Y'all, before we start judging, just do your homework. Hey, you're on with Monique and Sydney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Hello, my name is Monique, and I'm calling from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hey, Monique.
Hey, Monique.
Hey. So I'm super shocked because it took me about 87 calls to get through. But listen, I'm not even gonna hold y'all up with all that. This is what I'm gonna say. Monique, from one Monique to another, from one truth bearer and truth seeker to another. I have to tell you that I went through the same thing in my family. The only difference is I went up against my family, not the industry. So I can only imagine how it feels to go up against an entire industry. That's terrible. My family, my situation was sexual abuse. They knew this man raped and molested all these people in my family and in his family from his first wife. They did absolutely nothing. At 16, I stood up for myself. I stood up for the people that came before me because they were still suffering. I stood up for the people that was coming after me because I didn't want them to get hurt. And you know what ended up happening? My family disowned me, ostracized me, kicked me out, basically. I had to be on my own for a very long time. I'm still on my own, even though I'm 30. But what I'm saying is, at 16, I was walking the streets. At night, because I didn't have anywhere else to go, because nobody else would stand up with me, with my family. So I know how hard it is. I just want to let you know, Monique, to stay strong. And the other thing is, when it comes to Sidney and the negative things they're saying about him, if he was not standing behind you, what would they call him?
Come on,
If he
baby.
was not being a protective husband, what would they call him? If he was not doing what a black man is supposed to do, because black men are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, a lot of them, the majority of them, which is why we have so many broken homes. But then here you have one that's doing what he's supposed to be doing, that's being here, supporting his wife, supporting his family, and being the backbone, and standing back to back with you, and they mad. So you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. That's a problem for me. That should be a problem for everybody. But instead, we have too many Steve Harveys. I put up a post on Facebook when I saw that the interview, and I said, "Are you a Steve Harvey or are you a Monique?" I'm a Monique. I made a video today on YouTube. Are you a Steve Harvey or are you a Monique? Nothing against Steve Harvey as far as him as a person, but what he stands for is wrong. It's too many Steve Harveys. We need more Moniques. That's all I have to say. Thank
Come on now. Thank you.
Stay strong, Mo.
you. Yep. You're welcome.
Love you, baby. Come on, baby. We're talking about it. Steve Harvey, money over integrity. And someone just said, why would you hug him and now have this conversation? I hugged him because I love him. And that's the part that fucks with a lot of y'all. When you say, how could you love and hug? Well, because
They're both the same. You having a conversation about this situation out of love, and you hug them out of what?
love.
It's the same thing.
Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. The reason why I can speak on that, because there have been conversations that my husband and I've had to have when we first got together. And I would have probably said the same thing. That's not love, because that's hurting my feelings. That's not love, because you telling me the truth. That's not love, because how dare you, that's hurting my ego. It was nothing but love. And it was nothing but that love, that unconditional love, that helped save my life. See, I'm not saying something, y'all, that I'm just pulling out the air or I'm guessing on. And the reason why these conversations are being so direct, because they had to happen with me. And it saved my life. My mother didn't have it with me. My father didn't have it with me. I'm the youngest of all my siblings. None of them had it with me. It took this man right here to say, there's too much weight on you. And if you don't do something about it, we'll be coming to your funeral. Now, to some people, that's, ooh, for me, that was, ooh. But it made me say, let me get in here and do something to save my life, because ain't nobody ever gave it to me like that. What I would get was, girl, you getting a little chunky. You better slow it down, but not. Listen, we're going to have to start getting prepared for your funeral, because the way you're going, it's going to take your life. So it's the real conversations, y'all, that again is not wrapped up in a bow. It's the ones that we've been conditioned not to have. It's the ones we've been conditioned, even in our homes, just let that go. Just let that go. See that baby that just called the name Monique and said she was ostracized from her family for speaking out loud about who molested her? Me too. So was I. And I'm grateful that I wasn't 16. No, I'm sorry. When I told, I was much younger. When I first told my mother, I was 15 years old. It got dealt with for about 24 hours. Then it was as if it had never happened. Then the next time I had to come forward with it was when I was doing the movie Precious, and I did that interview with Essence Magazine. And I said to my mother before I said to anyone, Mommy, I'm going to come out with the story. And initially my mother said, Monique, you come out with that story. And you know what, baby? I didn't know what to do because both of y'all were my children. And I love both of y'all. And I didn't know what to do. And I said, Ma, do you realize if you say that out loud, how many lives that will save? Because this is not unique. There are a lot of mothers and fathers out there who's dealt with molestation amongst their children, and they love both of them, so they don't know what to do. But that's honest. And then when it came down to it, my mother backed out and then made me out to be, I can't believe Monique is doing that. So for the Monique that called in, baby, I understand it. But what I will say to you is, I'm proud of you from one sister to another. Because you said despite the consequences. Even if that means I got to be homeless right now, I'm going to tell it. Because I know this person is going to affect some little girls coming behind me.
And to piggyback on what you're saying, to take it to an even different level, when Oprah Winfrey calls and says to Monique, I would like to have your brother on my show, would that be okay? But never divulged the fact after they had spoken about the relationship between not only Monique and her family, but Oprah and her family. And how they collectively were, if you will, kindred spirits in the relationships that they had with their family. But unbeknownst to Monique, she ended up bringing her mother on, her father on, and her brother Steve, the one who did not molest her. So now it looks as if her family is against her and siding with Gerald, who was the molester. So when you have that, and then you have a Caucasian woman by the name of Barbara Walters who says to Monique, they called me too, Monique, but I would never do that to you and have them come on my show. Well, this is part of the concern that we have with Oprah Winfrey, because she's never made a call to apologize in reference to that. And with all of the cars that she's given away, all of the schools, all of the incredible things, how difficult is it to say, with a movie that you were an executive producer on, Monique was not wrong for saying no to a group that she had no contract with. And I apologize, Monique, for bringing your mother, your father, and your brother on the show without making mention to you, or at the very least, I should have made mention to you.
And the apology that she did give was, if you think I did something wrong.
If.
Now, she gave that apology in front of about 20 women, 20 black women at Alfred Woodard's home. If you think I did something wrong. And that's what we've been too afraid, y'all, to deal with. So when you got brothers like Seed of Abraham, a cat that calls himself Seed of Abraham, that says a lot to me right there about him, but okay. That's saying you owe them an apology. You owe them an apology. As I said to Steve Harvey, what is it that I'm apologizing for? Tell me what I'm apologizing for. Now, when I'm on that comedy stage, that's my comedy show. Tell me what I've said off of that stage in reference to any of those people that I should be apologizing for.
Well, that wasn't true.
And that's what Steve Harvey could not answer.
In addition to the fact Someone I read said, and it may have been Seed of Abraham, that he apologized to you and you're still talking like this. What I would like you to do is go back and look at the video and find the apology that Steve made to Monique. If you can find it, then we'll apologize for overlooking it. But what you'll see is, as close as he got to an apology was, I probably should have called you. And the very one who is vehement about giving an apology, that Monique should give an apology, is the very one who was unable to give an apology for making a statement about someone that they've known 25 plus years. Didn't know them. Back in the day when Steve wore the long coats and had the box haircut, do you think he was going to be able to come on the Oprah Winfrey Show? Here's the proof. Did he go on the Oprah Winfrey Show? But now, when you're part of the newfound fame and all of that, you think that you're all part of a group. But when you fall on the wrong side of, if you will, grace, I wonder how many calls he's getting right now from Oprah. I wonder how many calls he's getting from Tyler. Because if they really want to love up on one another, all they have to say is, man, do you know all we got to do is give an apology sincerely? Tyler Perry, I can't make him out to be a bad guy. We can't. He called up after hearing our podcast and said, it hurt me to hear what it was that y'all were going through. The man offered $300,000 to $500,000, depending upon what he was under the belief that he made. Now, that says something within itself, because if he's an executive producer, the movie made $63 million precious and only 1,000 theaters. But he's saying he made $300,000 to $500,000 and said, I will give that to you, Monique, as my way of saying sorry. And what we said to him, again, money over integrity is the purpose of this story.
Come on.
We said, no, keep your money. Because anybody at any given time, you could use a $500,000. You take it.
Come on.
We said, no, as opposed to doing that, if you be so kind as to tell the people the truth, which is Monique wasn't wrong, you hold on to that. That's more valuable to us. He said he would. If you heard it.
Clear my name.
That's it.
Clear our name. I remember watching What's Love Got to Do with It? With Tina Turner. Right? Remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
And they sitting in court. And y'all see Ike losing himself. All I got is this. All I got is that. She said, keep all of that. Just let me keep my name. I've worked hard for it. Just let me keep my name. So when y'all saying, Monique, you holding a grudge, let me tell y'all silly asses something for the ones that's saying it. There's no grudge being held. I'm holding on to the truth. I'm holding on to the truth. And see, I want to share this. I watched my father. I have 2 brothers and a sister. And I watched my father raise cowards in my brothers. I watched my father raise these black men not to stand up. And I watched my father go silent when shit got really heavy and really deep. Now here's the mind blow. My father was a therapist, baby. Could tell other people about their problems, their families, how to come off of drugs, all of this. But he couldn't talk to his own family. So I watched my father raise these 2 men that are my biological brothers, and they're cowards. And I watched my mother deal with me and my sister and not have the conversations that mothers should have with their daughters. So there are a lot of choices and decisions that my sister and I both made. And my mother said absolutely nothing. Nothing. The numerous men that went up into our bedrooms. My mother never said, what are y'all doing? My father never said, what are y'all doing? So for the ones that question why I call him daddy, for the ones that question why I hold on to him so tight, see, I call him daddy as he calls me mama, but for the nurturing, for the raising, for the training, for the loving. I don't know what you call yours, but that's why I call mine that, because I'm watching him raise kings and not cowards. Even when the conversation ain't fun. There have been times when my husband had to say to me, okay, I need you to walk away now because I've got to deal with my sons. I ain't never heard my father tell my mother that. What I did see was my father walk away like a coward and say, you deal with that. So when you're raised with a family of cowards, and you're raised in a family where it's okay to be violated and won't nobody say shit, well, see, that molded me, y'all. That molded me so that nobody would violate me again when you come from that. And I say that unapologetically.
And y'all see the Sagittarian fire in her right now, because when she sees the seed of Abraham, she gets highly offended. When she sees the William D's, she gets highly offended. And these are the things that we discuss, because when you have people that disagree with you, you got to understand, when you're standing on what it is that you believe in so firmly, you appreciate the ones that don't, because that's the thing that gives you a test. You have no test if everything goes your way. So we appreciate you, seed of Abraham. We appreciate you and all of your bewilderment, all of the things that you say that may be negative, because all of what you're telling Monique she should not stand for speaks to all of what you're willing to accept. And it's the reason why the community of people who are reaching out, you see 99.9% of them are saying, stand strong. And the reason is because there's no one on this that does not know what it is to be on the outside looking in. And we're saying to those that are on the outside looking in, our folks from the LGBTQ community, our folks that are women, black women, anyone that you can think of, if you're Asian, if you're Latin, if you're Native American, we're saying to you, the reason why we stand is for the people that didn't stand by you. The reason why we stand is for those who stood by you. The only way that we can be an example for ourselves and potentially the others is if we do what we need to do for ourselves as human beings. So again, we can't take it personally. We were asked today in an interview, are you angry with Steve Harvey? Can you make up with him? There's nothing to make up. We love him. There ain't no reason to tear him down. We don't have an issue with Steve Harvey. The issue was with what he was saying. The issue was with what they're doing. And someone's asking, what is my star sign? I am a Libra. So it is air and it is fire right here, okay? This is how it is, air and fire. So it's one of those things where, again, learning not how to take things so personally when they don't go your way, we working towards that.
Yes, I am.
We're working towards it. But at the same time, there's a level of ferocity that you have to have in the pursuit of justice.
Hey, you're on with Monique and Sidney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Yes, hi, my name is Diana.
Baby, cut your device down so we can hear you.
Hello? Baby, cut your device down so we can hear you. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay, sweet baby. Talk to us.
Yes, I just wanted to tell you, first of all, I admire everything that you're doing. That's number one. And also to let you know, my husband and I almost had the same relationship you guys had. My husband's Puerto Rican, and I don't understand why everybody says, oh, why do you call him daddy? Well, I call my husband Papi. So there's no real difference. But I also wanted to just tell you that I was really inspired by you standing up, and for you standing up the way you did, it really inspired me to go to my job and say, hey, listen, I bust my ass, and if anything, I'm better than half of these other workers that work here, and I want to be paid equally. And honestly, it's not just about money, but I also have to say, it's not what you say yes to, it's what you say no to that makes you stronger.
Come on, baby.
And that you, and it's you know, it's the things that you stand up for. And I always heard, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. So I just want to say thank you for not living on your knees and accepting less than what you deserve, because I think a lot of, especially African American and Latino women like myself, and I try to tell my daughter the same thing. Don't just settle for less. You gotta have standards, and people are gonna look at you, especially being a woman of color. Oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? If I was any brighter, if I was any different, you wouldn't say that to me. So we have to start valuing ourselves. So I really appreciate you, making us see our worth. And it's about time finally a celebrity said, no, I'm gonna do this. I don't care about money. I don't care about fame. I'm doing this for my integrity. So I really, really, really admire that about you. I really do. And Sydney, I appreciate you standing by your wife too, because my husband is the same way. He's like, listen, he was the one who we had those uncomfortable conversations too. He's always telling me, you got to stop letting people run over you. And my husband's from Brooklyn, New York, and he's Puerto Rican, so he don't stand for the bullshit.
Come on now.
That's right. We appreciate you.
So I really appreciate you guys, and keep doing what you're doing. I'm with you 1,000,000,000%.
We love you, baby.
Thank you now.
Love you. Bye-bye now.
Bye, sugar. Y'all, we're talking about it. Our brother, Steve Harvey. Money over integrity. And do you think you should take money over integrity? Hey, you on with Monique and Sidney. Who's this and where you're calling from?
Monique, it's Lisa Durden from the city of New York.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Mama. Listen, Monique, I've been forgetting to tell you. Please take this as a total compliment. Bitch, your skin is gorgeous.
Thank you, baby.
Oh, girl. Hi, Sydney.
How you doing?
Y'all know I need my fix every week. Stop playing games.
Well, see, Lisa, let me tell you, because our schedule changed, because I'm doing a residency now in Vegas.
Yes.
So by the schedule changing, we just had to get accustomed to the new schedule. So we're gonna start doing it on Wednesdays now instead of Thursdays.
I'm in there, girl, because I'm doing the shake, girl. I'm in the fetal position with my thumb up my ass. I need my fix of Monique and Sidney's open relationship.
Come on.
We love you for that, baby.
Girl, let me just say, I saw the Steve Harvey interview, and I have a new hashtag. Mute Steve Harvey.
We ain't messing with
Now,
you.
Monique.
Yeah, Lee.
I know I'm talking about real quick. Now, I don't mind hugs because I'm with you on the hug piece. The bad thing too is hurt someone with love. So you can hug Steve Harvey, but here's where I was having a problem. Who does Steve Harvey think he is talking about some Monique? But I couldn't help you. Like, you grown as hell. Is he your daddy or is Stephanie your dad?
You know who my daddy is.
Precisely. So like, who was he saying? But when I heard you say Monique, I was like, oh, Monique, I can't help you. I can't. Who do you think you are? Exactly. So I'm not going to regurgitate the whole interview, but I'm just saying it was whack as hell. You trashed his ass, and I feel like everybody, except for one or two idiots, and there were a bunch of bloggers writing. Oh, girl, go on there and search it. They were writing saying, and I think it was Esme too. One of the big bloggers trashed him and said Steve Harvey should be muted. I agree, and I like that you stood your own, and I'm like, you stood your ground, and I like that when he said say sorry and apologize. What does he mean? Well, they need to apologize to you, and you need to apologize to him. That was so bitch ass. What are you apologizing for?
This is the listeners of Monique and Sidney's open relationship now. Welcome.
Thank you. Now, lastly, Monique, listen. Are you going to be doing this Mother's Day thing at the Apollo?
You know what, Lisa? That's why I love you, baby. That's every year. Chris Woods, of course, I will be at the Apollo Mother's Day. Y'all know how we do it. That is home for me on Mother's Day.
Now, Monique, I'm a journalist. I need to interview you at the YouTube space at my you and Sidney when you come to town.
I will send the card for you. Can we arrange that? I'll email you. Can we arrange that interview at YouTube when you come here for the Mother's Day thing?
We sure can, baby. We can arrange an interview, but it'll just be me.
Oh, damn. Where Daddy at? Daddy, where Daddy at?
Daddy got to be home with the fellas. Got the crew over here holding it down the business
Okay.
side.
But if I'm there, he's there too.
No doubt.
Okay, good. So I'll email you guys. Sydney, I think I have your email address. I'll email you. We'll work around your schedule. I'll either do it at Apollo or you can come to YouTube. I'll send you a card. We'll make it work. But girl, I love you. You keep up the good work.
We love you, Lee, and I'll see you Mother's Day.
All right.
All money ain't good money.
Come on, baby. Did y'all hear that? All money ain't good money. Because you can get some of that money, baby, and once you realize just how little of that money you got,
I saw somebody put up East Baltimore. I'm like, listen, part of East Baltimore, even though I grew up in Randallstown, part of East Baltimore is inside me. East Preston Street and Washington Avenue.
come on.
Dana Brown, Edric Brown, Nate, all of them back in the day, because those folks who helped make us.
Come
you know
on.
what I'm saying? Michelle,
Listen,
Antoine Harris, Timmy and Bobby Chambers.
talk on them.
Okay, so we came up in the town at a time in Randallstown, Maryland, where they called you nigger to your face. Okay, in the 70s.
Yes, they do.
So now the game is a little different, where it's a bit more covert, and you got the brothers who believe that, you know, because I have, I must not be. And here's the thing, that's fine too, but we got to keep standing when we see things that just don't make sense.
That's all, y'all. And by no means are we perfect people.
By no
By
means.
no means are we claiming to be the light. By no means are we claiming to be where we don't have any flaws. We all of that. Shit, I know I am, and then some.
And then some, all of us.
I love it.
This right here environment is not for the sacred. It is for the sinners who want to be the best that they can possibly be and not going to be on Front Street pretending like they're more than they are.
Come on, y'all.
But when you see people that are pretending to be more than they are and they're trying to put you down in the process and ridicule you, you're not going to return volley by putting them down. We can't do that. But what we can say is check out who you are and you'll see. Because again, a part that you guys did not see, that they did not air, was when Monique asked Steve Harvey. She said to him, with all of the information that you're giving me, you yourself said that you would have appreciated if NBC would have called you up to let you know that they were going to be canceling your show. And he, at that point, began to share his true feelings. See, he got out of character. He stepped out of Steve Harvey, I'm for the union. And he became Steve Harvey, a black man that was disgusted at the fact that he was mistreated after, as he said, enduring a 7-year storm.
Yes.
And began to speak about the Caucasian people that worked over there and his disdain for the way in which they treated him. They didn't show that part, though. They didn't show that part. They only showed you what they wanted you to see. And again, this is not to call Brother Steve out, it's to call him up. Because when we start telling the truth about what's really going on, then the truth will be known about what's really going on.
And let me say this too. When people own their shit, when people say, you know what, yes, I did that. Oh, yes, I said that. And at the time, I was messed up. At the time, those were my thoughts. At the time, but now, baby, I'm mature. I think differently. I do it a different way. And let me apologize. Shit is done for us. It's
Right.
for when you have people that says, oh, well, back in the day, they said something. They were a white supremacist. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. I watched a program with a white skinhead. And I'm talking about white skinhead. Flags, shouting niggas, curling everything. Well, he married a black woman. And that black woman said, I knew that man had love because I dealt with him in a way that nobody else did. And then that white man said, to be loved in that way, I had to drop off all of that ignorant foolishness that I was taught and conditioned to believe. So we're not saying by no means people can change, y'all. People can grow. People can have a change of heart. People can elevate to another level of thinking. It's when you don't own it.
And it's the way you assist in trying to help them elevate to a different way of thinking. It's not by trying to beat them up and talking about, you want to, he this, he that, he the other. It's when you say, you know what, let's lift this cat up, let's have a real conversation, and we done with it. But to that end, baby, it's that time.
It is that time, Daddy. It's that time for us to say, I'm Mo, he said. See y'all today. Did you? Okay, baby, I was trying to buy something new. But don't boo me.
Let's take it out the right way, baby. Come on now.
We want to thank y'all, my loves.
Come
we
on.
want to thank y'all for giving us your ears, your heart, your mind. And we ask that you tell a friend and tell another friend and then tell 10 more friends, because we really believe that this show is not only helping us, but it can help the entire community.
Absolutely.
So like my daddy always says, the mind is like a parachute.
It is no good unless it's open.
We love y'all.
For free.
Mwah. And make sure y'all come to the SLS Hotel in Las Vegas for Monique Does Vegas. Bye, babies.